Hi, my name is Sarah Anderson, and I am the co-founder and artist for Alpinecho Honest Outdoor Goods. We are an outdoor goods brand, and the inspiration actually came from fly shops in mountain towns. My husband and I were going into all of them every time we traveled, and I just felt like there wasn't much realistic or I would say like hand-drawn artwork on those products. So we actually started with these 3 fish and slowly switched into just more the outdoor industry, not just fish. But it is currently 100% USA made, except for one of our international manufacturers. And that's kind of become part of the brand. Although we didn't start with that intent, it's become really the heart of the brand is to support American manufacturing and ethical manufacturing. So it's just a combination of a few of our different loves. So for me, artwork, and then for both my husband and I, the outdoors, all things outdoors. And we say that we really focus on authentic outdoors, meaning not just the pretty part, but also kind of the funny parts, whether or not that's like overpacking on a backpacking trip or, blisters and bug bites and just really trying to bring like actual outdoor stories into the artwork. I breathe a little bit of life into the actual designs on outdoor products. This is an example I grabbed, but these are some wildflowers that I illustrated while I was on a camping trip in Ouray, Colorado. And then I scanned these illustrations, and they're just little sketches. But I scan them, bring them into whatever program is appropriate, add a subtractor, add backgrounds. So here's an example of a hat using those exact illustrations. And that's part of what we want to do as far as being authentic, is that the artwork was actually created outside based on these actual flowers, so that when people are wearing these, they know they're not just phoned in, essentially. Here's an example of a net gator with the same flowers on it, and then here is a sticker with 3 of the flowers. But it all starts just in a sketchbook notepad. I mean, these are just absolutely full of designs that you'll see on our products. In an age of computerization of everything, is to get back to hand-drawn. I just think it has a different feeling and a different personality. I'm a graphic designer, and I now say an illustrator, but I haven't been trained in illustration. I just have always loved to draw, so I just have fun with illustration, and it's kind of become the bigger part of my job. But having training in graphic design has been very helpful because it's allowed me to get from a hand-drawn sketch into a product and to be able to lay that out and to create packaging. And when we first started, something I wanted to do was just to really make the packaging look professional, because I think that sets it apart from maybe like, this is my hobby to this is my business. And then I worked for a company that worked only with nonprofits. And that was really where my passion was. And we worked with a lot of different kinds of nonprofits, and just being able to help tell their story, because their story is so important to me, was really special. And I grew a lot during those 5 years. And then when that door closed, I did a little bit of illustration work for a different outdoor company. And once I saw those products in like national retailers, I kind of thought, why couldn't I just do my own? We started getting into national parks, and then last year my husband joined full time, and then now we're both doing it together. We call him the numbers guy, and then I do the visual side. When we first started, I started with what I knew, and that was print design. So I started with greeting cards because I knew how to produce paper products. And then stickers. It was just greeting cards and stickers because I knew how to do it, and I knew places locally that could help out with that. As we started to grow, I actually started to learn a little bit more about supply chains, and I was looking for a patch manufacturer, and their name indicated that they were made in the USA. And then after going through the whole coding process, I just thought I should just clarify that these are made in the USA, right? And they said, oh, well, no, they're not actually made in the US. They're just shipped to us in the US, and then we ship them to you, which just was a surprise to me. And so I started to ask them questions about how the things are made, where are they actually made, and how do we confirm that they're being made ethically? And they actually laughed at me and told me that I would never succeed as a company if I tried to be USA made, because you just can't make enough money, you can't make your margins. And that was a huge eye-opener. It was that phone conversation with that manufacturer when I realized there's a problem here and I need to learn more about supply chains. That is what led us to be USA made, because we don't have the resources to travel around the world and find different manufacturers and then make sure that things are being done ethically at different factories. And so we just decided to let's support American manufacturing. It's really growing right now, and that's really exciting. And so all of our products are 100% USA made except for our hats, but we're really excited about our hats because they are made by Purnaa in Nepal. And Purnaa itself was started in order to give opportunities to marginalized people, to give them fresh starts and fulfilled lives. Purnaa is not only not contributing, it's actually doing the exact opposite and helping create a solution to the problem. So our USA-made products are made all over the place. We have bandanas that are made in the Carolinas, and the cotton is even grown and milled there, which is really neat. And then our Nalgene's are made in New York. Our net gaiters are made in California. Our cards say, I think, a paper is made in Ohio, and then they're printed right here in Fort Collins, which is where we're located. So we're all over the US and then Nepal, which is really exciting too, because my husband spent time in Nepal before we were married, and it's just a very special country to him. So to be able to have a connection with them has become really neat, and we're excited to expand with them as well. I really didn't know anything. I didn't think a whole lot about where things came from. I was just kind of blissfully unaware when I went to the store to get something where that thing was made and the ramifications that has on the people who are making it. Now I can't look at, anything in a store without looking at where it's made and asking a lot of questions. And I actually shop very differently than I used to. Now I see that it's a huge problem. And it's actually more rare to have a product that's made ethically than it's not, which is really sad, as I've just learned more about. I also have learned a lot about what's possible and what's not possible. For example, certain things that just are not made in the USA. We have to work with what we know we can trust. We have to work with what's being made in the US, or at somewhere like Purnaa, a partner that we really trust, which they're our only international partner. So I think that it's actually been our biggest challenge as a company, is finding manufacturers and then being able to create the products that we want in an ethical way that we have no question in our mind that this is not contributing to the slavery of anyone along the line. I would say to anyone who wants to start a business is just start asking questions of potential manufacturers. Pretty quickly, you'll be able to tell when they don't want to answer a question, and that's a big red flag. There's great international manufacturers. Another way to find a good manufacturer is kind of to piggyback on another company who you trust. So if you can find out maybe where a company that you trust is having their things made, then you can also start with a little bit of an understanding of where their values are. And that's really helpful as a small company, because the really large companies have the ability to really check out the manufacturers and small companies don't. So if you can kind of team up with a company that has those resources, that's really helpful. Our first priority is how are the people who are making it being treated? And then our next step is how are the products I should say the ingredients that go into the product, also supporting sustainable lifestyles for everybody around. Just recently switched over to, or they're going to be switching over to recycled polyester. Now jeans switched to what they call sustain, and that's half recycled. Something that we also try to bring attention to is that someone who is enslaved can make something that is recycled, and to not confuse sustainability as only being something that has to do with the environmental impact, because right now it's pretty popular. We're all familiar with greenwashing. We just want to make sure that we're never doing something just so people will buy it because it looks good, that what we're doing is actually doing good, both being responsible environmentally and then also being ethical to the people that are making it. Holistically, we don't even use the word sustainable on our website simply because there's not really a marker that tells us what is sustainable. At this point, you can kind of just say whatever you want to sell what you want. For now, we're just being honest, and we're trying to share as much information as we can on where things are being made so that people can make an educated decision before they spend their money on that, and that they know what it is that they're supporting. It's okay to ask the manufacturer a lot of questions, where different elements come from, and then share that with your customers. And chances are they haven't even thought about where the fabric came from that's on their hat, or where cotton is grown that goes into bandana. And so a lot of consumers don't even know to ask a question like that. So I think it's really helpful just to give them that information up front. And it also becomes kind of an education piece. I mean, I wish I had known much sooner how important it is to buy ethically made products. But if a product is made high quality, can last a long time, pay more for it, and the people who made it got paid fairly to make that product, that is absolutely worth the slightly higher cost. And I think trying to communicate that to your customers and understanding that yourself just really changes how you come at the business. It's an amazing thing to be making a difference in a way that most companies aren't. And it's okay to just be honest and open about what that is and give people more information than they ask for, because again, most consumers don't even realize that this is a problem.